Every night just before bedtime, my two pets would race around the house like maniacs. We'd call them the Midnight Zoomies. Hi, I'm here to tell you about my two pets, a 9-year-old cat and a 1-year-old Chow Chow. They have completely different personalities. My cat is super chill and laid back. He likes to nap all day long, and he doesn't really get very excited about anything. But my dog, on the other hand, is extremely energetic and playful. He's always getting into everything, and he's always eager for a game of fetch or a good old Zoomie session. Despite their differences though, they're best friends. And every night before bed, they would let loose and run around the house like crazy. It was adorable, hilarious, and just a little bit exhausting to watch. It started every night at precisely the same time. As soon as the hands of the clock struck midnight, the house would fall silent. The day was done. All that was left was the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the distant rumble of the city. Everyone was asleep, except for my dog and my cat. My cat would be lounging on the sofa, seemingly fast asleep, but in reality, he was patiently waiting for the clock to strike 12. And my dog, well, he'd be pacing back and forth in the kitchen, whining softly and licking my daughter's face until she went back to sleep. As soon as the clock struck 12, though, something amazing would happen. The cat would leap off the couch with incredible agility and bound down the hallway, his paws barely touching the ground as he made his way toward the kitchen. There, he would meet up with my dog, who would be practically vibrating with excitement, and then they would take off. They would tear through the house, racing up and down the stairs, tearing through the halls, crashing into furniture, and leaping over boxes. The whole house shook with their energy as they played tag, crashing into each other and skidding across the hardwood floor. It was like watching two furry little tornadoes rip through the house, sending everything in their path flying. The cat would weave between the dog's legs, darting under his belly and leaping over his head. The dog would try to catch the cat, but he was just too quick. He'd spin around in circles trying to orient himself, only to trip over his own feet and land in a heap on the floor. And then they'd do it all over again. They would race from room to room, back and forth, until they were both panting and exhausted. And even then, they wouldn't stop. They would collapse on the floor, but not before nudging each other with their noses, which would send them into another round of Zoomies. It was exhausting just to watch them. I could barely keep up with them as they dashed past me, but I couldn't help but smile. It was so much fun to see them play. They would go at it for what felt like hours, but it was probably closer to 30 minutes. And then finally, just as suddenly as it began, it would end. They would both collapse on the floor, one on top of the other, panting heavily and licking each other's faces. Then, they would lay there for a while, just enjoying the silence and the quiet of the night. The cat would groom himself slowly and carefully, while the dog would lay on his back, tongue lolling out the side of his mouth, completely relaxed and happy. And I have to admit, I loved it. I loved seeing them so happy and carefree. It was the perfect end to the perfect night. But it wasn't just their nighttime antics that made them such an amazing pair. During the day, they were the best of friends. They would play together, eat together, and cuddle together on the couch. They were inseparable. My cat is a pretty laid-back guy. He likes to take things slow and easy. But my dog, well, he's always got a lot of energy. But somehow, he never gets on my cat's nerves. And my cat never seems to mind the dog's rambunctiousness. They have a great understanding of each other. Sometimes I'll come home from work and find them playing together in the living room. The dog will be running around like a maniac, while the cat is perched on top of the bookshelf, watching him intently. And as soon as the dog looks up, the cat will leap down and join in on the fun. Other times, I'll find them napping together on the couch. The dog will be laying on his back, with his legs in the air, while the cat is curled up on top of him fast asleep. It's the most adorable thing ever. And then there are the times when I come home and find them staring at each other intently. Not aggressively, but almost as if they're having a conversation. It's uncanny to see how they communicate with each other. And I can't help but wonder what they're saying to each other. I know my dog is always up to no good. He's always getting into stuff he shouldn't, and he's always looking for trouble. But somehow he has a way of looking at my cat that makes him seem almost angelic. Maybe it's the way he tilts his head, or the way he cocks his ear, or maybe it's just because I know my dog loves him. Either way, it's hard not to feel a sense of peace when I see them together. They're a great example of how different animals can get along and be friends, and I'm lucky enough to witness their bond every day. So here's to my two pets, the cat and the dog. May your friendship continue to inspire me for years to come, and may your midnight Zoomies continue to bring joy to my heart. Thank you for listening to my story about my two pets. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. And I'll see you next time.